Listen, honey child, I know that it's hard to find somebody to talk to when you're going through. I know it's hard to find somebody to listen without judgment. And sometimes when you're in a dark place, you need sound spiritual advice to help you on your journey. My name is Cherie Stern, and I'm qualified because I care. And I do care. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to Hot Pink Radio. This is your mother, your auntie, your friend, your mentor, your big cuz, your little cuz, whatever it is that you want to call me, y'all. And I'm just out here. I'm just out here with my friend Eve Love. We've been talking about some things tonight. On tonight's show, we are going to talk about codependency, about being addicted to toxicity. I want to talk about the reprobate mindset, okay? And toxic shame, healed in childhood wounds. I mean, all of that really comes as a part of codependency. So, you know how I do. I mean, I never flip, I never fold. I'm always going to keep it real, coming to you straight off the muscle with square business, okay? And my
No.
friend tonight, Eve Love, is joining me again. I hope that you guys enjoy her because she is definitely a great counselor, mentor, friend, coach. She does those great wretched readings. Okay. I had a
Oh
picture of it.
yeah.
I have to put it back. I don't know what I did with it, but she does those great, those wretched readings. You know, the tarot, and I'm sure some probably some oracles and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm just gonna put her
Whatever.
here
Intuitive.
real quick, and I'm gonna let you come in because Eve, I wanted to talk to you about some of this, and some of the our services that you offer do
Uh-huh.
help with this venting session. I told you that was my favorite,
Right.
and then the consultation, the past, present, and future readings, all of that kind of good stuff, just to kind
Right.
of help people put things in order in their lives. Okay,
Our
and so
perspective as
yeah,
far as what spirit has for them, you
yes.
know.
Get into it. Let us get into it tonight. We are talking about codependency. Okay,
Woo! That's one right there.
that's one
Codependency in relationship, period. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So we have to look at each relationship that we've ever had in our life, starting with the childhood. Now,
Yeah,
where does the codependency come from? Does it come with a child that's codependent on the parents' approval? Because codependency usually means that we need the approval of somebody else.
hmm,
You feel what I'm saying? Before we can, it's just like the old mentality of a slave. When master say it's about to rain outside, and then the slave say, "Is it gonna rain outside, master?" Like you need your master's approval to make a move to know even if it's gonna rain outside. That's the same thing as a codependency relationship, and then those type of relationship do sometimes turn into a toxic relationship.
right. I
Yeah,
mean, you know what? Let me just first start out because I have to keep it real. I just have to keep it real and a thousand. You
that's
know,
how we keep it real, real.
okay. I just have to apologize to my own daughters. And I think every mother out here, we don't come in this world knowing what to do. We don't come in this her world with a handbook and all of that kind of stuff. We don't come into this world, knowing the how to function in certain situations. And the only thing we learn is what we see. And like this excerpt here that I put up, the most overlooked addiction is the addiction to another human being, which is what you were just saying,
Man,
where you can act out the dysfunction of your childhood. So let me just start out by apologizing to my own daughters for whatever I allowed in their life, whatever I put in front of them, to where both my daughters have had to deal in a toxic relationship. They have both had to to deal with a partner that I don't want to get on here
That was
talking
abusive.
people's sons and all of that kind of stuff, and all that.
Yeah.
But whenever there is this toxicity, whenever there's this cycle, okay, this back and forth,
And
you know,
it's crazy that you
nobody's
said cycle.
hmm
You taught them a cycle. You taught your daughters a cycle. So now they're in the cycle until they decide to stop being codependent on abuse. And where did they see that abuse? So as parents, we have to hold ourselves accountable for what we teach and show our children, because before our children know anything, they know us as parents, as God. We are the instructors. We are the coaches. So we are the every so that's commendable for you to even hold yourself accountable for what you instilled or what you showed them. So now you can see these are the mistakes, or I could have did something different, and maybe in this genre right here, because they are both repeating cycles.
Yes, and the thing about it is to get to that healed place, and then now I look back and I'm like, I say I want to live a life without regrets and things like that, so
Right.
I can't go back and change the past. But now, right now, in this very moment, I can say, okay, I'm accepting my responsibility for this and help them if I can help them heal, because I feel like I've talked to so many people just lately, in the last few months, who have so many issues, so many mother issues. I can't speak for the daddies, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
people that I've heard people say that they hate their mother. Okay. I've heard people say that whatever it is that their mother allowed into their lives, whatever it is that mama did, this, that, and the other, and so it's heartbreaking, because I do have two daughters, and of course we don't intend to, to pass
Passed
that
down.
off to our daughters, off to our children, but it happens. They see you addicted to toxicity. They see you taking somebody back, coming in and out, and all of that kind of thing. And then they believe that it's okay. Hey, Maria, I've got Maria Giddings here for studies, the group studies, and I've been trying to
Welcome,
get her
welcome, Maria.
here
It, it,
for a minute. You
yeah,
look
but it's just like you
wonderful.
said. It's rooted in that childhood trauma that sometimes our mothers are our bullies.
Yeah.
Sometimes our mothers are the first person that ever broke our hearts.
Mhm.
Sometimes our mother shows us that toxic relationship, like you said, that open door, that opening, come in and go as you please type of relationship, or just having one man after another relationship, and showing our daughters these toxic traits that now that we seeing them repeat the cycle, and now we can see that there was some, but what caused our trauma, what I'm saying, as mothers, where did
Right.
we pick up those toxic codependency traits from? We have to look at what came before us. Our parents, our mothers was born with trauma. Yes, so if her mother was born with trauma and you was born with trauma, so that means we have to somehow heal the trauma of the womb. Our
From the
womb has been traumatized by codependency, starting with, how we got here, just being codependent on somebody else to tell us what to do. We're born with codependencies,
Yeah.
just automatically.
Maria, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining. Do you want to go ahead and
Thank
jump
you
in
for
here?
having me.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, I well, I would definitely have to agree. It starts with childhood. We mimic what we see, um, and at some point we have to break the cycle.
Hmm.
But with
And that's
breaking the cycle, we have to know when to get help, and we have to be okay with getting help. And a lot of times we're taught as children, what happens in the house stays in the house. You don't talk about it, you sweep it under the rug. But we can't. In order to break the cycle, we have to get help, and we have to learn how to speak about it and say, I don't want to be like this. I don't want my children to be like this. I want my children to be better.
yes.
Right.
I definitely want my children to be better than gross. Both of them are grown women now, and as I see toxicity being played out, and I was gonna go back. When I used to, I used to go to a church, and we used to do Bible study, and we would be one of our leaders was actually a therapist, and we talked about codependency all the time, and I could feel, the shame of it, but I didn't really, it really didn't um, hit me in the way that you can feel the shame of it, but when you don't know what it is, then you can't combat the problem. So that's what we're here tonight for, so we can know what it is, so we can share this in our community because there's so much of it.
True.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
I'm gonna put up this little visual here so we can know what it is, because if you don't know what a problem is, then you can't combat it. Some things we look at as normal that is not normal.
Right.
And that's how we have to know. That's one reason that the cycle is hard to break, is because we don't know what it is. We don't have a definition on what this is, what's a healed relationship and what is a codependent relationship. Okay. So
Exactly.
I just wanted
Right.
wanted to talk about that, because with our daughters, with them going into adulthood and
Adulthood.
looking for partners and things like that, they don't know anything about that whole human magnet system syndrome, law of attraction, how empaths attract narcissists, how we always think we're supposed to be on the same level, or whatever level we meet on, but depending on that person, then they can bring their own level of toxicity, which mixes in and make just a
Right.
big old toxic
Mhm.
cesspool.
Right.
I'm That's one thing that I want to help for myself, because I know I do not want to be in any more toxic relationships. And um,
So when have you ever yourself been in a codependent relationship where you felt like you couldn't make a move without your partner, or you had to have your partner's approval? So when we talk about codependency in a relationship, it's almost like your partner is the drug and you the addict. So have you yourself ever had a codependency relationship?
I have, and during the time that I was telling you about,
Oh, I have.
I was
Hmm.
very much in a codependent relationship. But the
Yeah.
thing about it is that I didn't have the tools that I needed to either identify it or to identify myself in it, because we always love to point the finger. We always love to blame the other person, and so by me not accepting my own role in the
Yeah.
toxicity, and
Like attract like,
right.
you
So I
know?
was sitting there just thinking I'm the victim, and was in certain ways, but not
Hmm.
really, because everybody's grown and everybody has
You
to.
victimized yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So once we find
Right.
out, uh, when we find those traits that we've already, the cycles that we've already repeated with the codependent, as soon as we recognize what it is, we should be able to release it, put a stop, somehow, hey, transmute this energy. I feel this, I felt this before. So how can I use this? Hey, look, we're becoming too codependent on each other. That's basically the relationship that I'm in right now. We felt like we was becoming too codependent on each other. So we took time out to be separate. To do our separate things because both do the same type of work. We both coaches. We both mentors. So we was end up working together. We end up living together, you know what I'm saying, at a very quick pace. So it became a codependency. We needed each other for every aspect of the day. What you want to eat? Oh, I don't know. It's whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So that becomes a codependency. And even though it didn't feel like a toxic situation, I felt like in the long run it was gonna become toxic. It's comfortable at first, but after a while you're gonna need your own
Hmm.
identities and you're gonna have to make your own decision and do things for yourself. You know what I'm saying? I feel like each of us as adults have codependent on something. because of the way we was raised as a kid. If we was ignored as kids, or if we was punished for being open and loud, or speaking our mind, and then now we codependent on our partners to give us that approval that we really truly need, you know what I'm saying, that we didn't receive as adolescents.
Yeah. And it can take on so many different forms.
Right.
Okay. I mean, you can
Mhm.
have a codependent friendship. You can have, you can, the job. I want to take a look at some of these things here on this list because, these things can happen really in any relationship. You know, relying heavily on another person for your own self worth. That is like the biggest thing. Relying on another person to approve of you, relying on another person to tell you that you're worthy, to waiting on someone to value you before you value yourself. That is definitely
Mhm.
toxic.
It definitely is. And I can say I've been there, and I've been in a relationship where the person felt like they couldn't make a move without me. And I'm like, no, go ahead. Like, do your thing, let me do my thing, But then I was made to feel bad about it. Like, oh, well, why? And I'm like, it's
Right.
okay. It's okay to be separate, and come back together and be able to conversate and discuss how our day went versus you always being up underneath me. And I was only child, so I don't do well with a person always attached to me. Like, I need my space. So yeah, I
And that's
recognize the
another.
signs.
I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. So when I see the red flags, I'm like, oh no, 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 we can't do that. Like, let's go talk to somebody. Let's figure out what we need to figure out to make this right. But
Right.
now I can say I don't have that issue. So
Well, and that's the thing, at some point you do evolve and you heal. One thing about it, even from looking at the other person's standpoint, like you, sometimes people will take that clinginess as and mistake it for love, and
exactly.
mistake it for emotion and
Mhm.
Adoration, affection.
adoration, affection.
Mhm.
And those are all the great things about love. But if you're sitting here waiting on somebody to, you know, well, I can't do this without you, or I can't do that without you, then yeah, for the other person to even recognize that, hey, you know what? We need to do something about that because you are a separate whole individual and you should be
Mhm.
okay doing what you need to do for yourself, whether I approve or not. And a lot of times people take that for you not caring, you know? I know
Right.
that I've experienced that.
Oh yes, I've been told, oh, you're not jealous enough, or you don't care enough. And it's like, no, it's not that. Like, I want you to go out and have a good time. I want you to take that trip for yourself to get your mental right. Like, it's okay. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm still trying to understand how people are so codependent on each other. Um, like I said, I was only child, so I'm used to coming and going. As long as I communicate, it shouldn't be no issue.
Hmm. And
Right.
then you have those situations where a person comes to you broken in some way, knowing that they're broken and expecting you to provide the healing and expecting you to be their peace and expecting you to do all of these things. And if you don't do it, then you've somehow failed in the
Right.
relationship.
Or
Really, they
correct.
should be bringing their own piece to add to the piece. They should be bringing their own
Exactly.
healed situation to the situation instead of pointing the finger at you if they don't, get whatever it is that they're looking out of the situation. And so that kind of causes you to kind of teeter totter on a boundary.
Hmm.
Jump in here with them and help me with these boundaries to, to I guess to be able to convey that because now I there are times I guess in these situations when you are the person on the other side and you're like, okay, I don't want you to depend on me like that. I don't want you to be so needy as far as I'm concerned. I don't want you to be so clingy. And then I've been accused of being cold hearted, you know, and that type of thing. And that's no, I'm not being cold hearted. I'm putting boundaries up here and trying to not be attached. And lack of attachment doesn't mean that you don't love the person. It just means that I don't want to be attached to this trauma that you're trying to put here, this trauma bond that you're trying to create here,
Hmm.
heal so we
Create.
can have a real bond.
Right, right. And it becomes,
Right.
and what they fail to realize is that when they're latching on like that and they're expecting so much of an individual, they're draining that individual.
Yes.
Because the expectations are too high. You want a void feel, and it's like you're steady um, pressuring that person to be or to replace something that they have lost or whatever they may be looking for, and it becomes toxic and it becomes draining.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's very draining.
Like actually, codependency works both ways. You have that overachiever, that person that's always giving, 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 giving. You know what I'm saying? And then you have that person that's always taking. It's just like you said earlier, those relationships where the narcissist is always attracted to the empath, or the empath is always, you got that codependent person that I want to fix this person, I want to save them from themselves, I can fix them,
Mhm.
and this person, they always need fixing. You feel what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So the
Exactly.
Hmm.
it's always one person that always need fixing, and then somebody that's always trying to overdo the job at fixing this person, instead of letting them hold themselves accountable for their own healing. You know what I'm saying? It's very
So
important that
true.
you be with somebody who's ascended, who's healing, and who is on a path to creating a difference. You know what I'm saying? Not that we can't be together every day, but let's have our own separate life. Let's do our thing. We can
Mhm.
live separately and still and still be in a loving relationship without just having to suck the life or energy out of each other. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be careful when it comes to, because like you say, some people are out here looking for love and some people are looking for energy. So
That's true.
you
Yes.
got to
And
be,
that's
you,
the
you
thing.
you have to know what they out here for.
Exactly. And that's the thing about it because when you are an giver as far as energy, as far as pouring into the person, and then you have someone that is taking, eventually you're going to run out because the taker is not giving anything to the situation. It's just that over giver that, and you want to do that, because I'm a big hearted person. I love hard. And when I go in for the kill,
Right.
like I'm overshowering, I'm over giving, it's all love, love, this, that, and the other. And, I'm gonna rub your feet, I'm gonna rub your head, I'm gonna bathe you, and all type of stuff.
Good
Okay.
job.
Hmm.
When I still not like I'm not getting that back, then I'm like, well, hey, what's going on here?
Hey,
I'm
but did you do it? Did you do it out of love, or did you do it out of expectation that I'm gonna get this back eventually? So you keep giving more and more, expecting this person to give you back, and they ain't gave it back yet. So do you do it out of love and you like to serve? You know what I'm saying? Or do you do it
well, the thing
because you?
I don't know. I don't know because I mean, in situations where I've done that, of course, and whenever you're dealing with the not narcissist empath dynamic, of course, on the empath side, you've been love bombed. Okay, we were talking about that the other day. You've been
Yeah,
love bombed, so you thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna, and the love bomb is, I mean, it's a bomb. Okay, it's an
a bomb.
explosion of love, and
Eventually, the time is up on that bomb. You feel me?
exactly, it's a time bomb. But then you start, from the other person's point of view, you're like, oh, you're getting all this love, you're getting showered, so I'm going to reciprocate and I'm going to give all of that back. And you start giving it back, but you don't start getting it, you don't get it back no more. At that point, you're in, probably some other stage of the toxic relationship.
Right. And what stage would that be?
Usually by the time usually by that time, it's probably that whole devaluation stage.
Man,
Now
let's
everything
let's
they
on a
loved about
scale of 1 to 10, this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what do we get more good vibes, or do we feel good when we dealing with this person, or is every time we pick up the phone or we in this person presence, our energy is sad. We got to argue. We got to bring up some stuff that happened 6 months ago. I don't even want to talk about the shit that happened yesterday. So
okay,
please don't come to me with something that happened 6 months ago trying to argue. So if the energy is good at this point of the relationship, or is the energy more bad? So now it's time for us to start seeing how to tip on out that motherfucker. I'm ready to tip out. I'm ready to put
okay,
I'm ready to put my one up like a Baptist church and tip on out that motherfucker. If it's more bad than, good, I have to evaluate that. You know what I'm saying? People have rejection and abandonment issues also in
exactly.
codependency relationship. One has a rejection issue and one has an abandonment issue, makes a beautiful case of something toxic, something beautifully toxic. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh,
hey, it depends on what position you playing in this codependency toxicity, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to play a role in it if you're not holding yourself accountable for the role you play. I hold myself accountable for every single time I played a codependency role, but I hold myself accountable to remove myself and transmute that energy and then bring it back to me, because I am the soul sum of my happiness. You know what I'm saying? My happiness don't come from a relationship or a status of a relationship. It comes from
exactly.
me. See, the first thing I had to do was fall in love with me. And then I was never codependent on anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Once I fell in
Mhm.
love with me, it didn't matter, what I'm saying, what I did. I could do no wrong for me. You know what I'm saying? There's the other person. Hey, I need time for myself. I love me. I love hanging out with me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Right.
there's no better person. So if you find
Okay.
that person don't love to hang out with they self, that's a red flag. You don't even like you. Shit, bitch.
Okay. And
You
see, and
don't
that's
like
the thing
you.
about it. When you do start to withdraw your energy,
Right.
because you're trying to, salvage some form of yourself, when you start to withdraw your energy, then to that person, it looks like you're abandoning them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even if they have abandonment issues, that's their issue. They have to
Correct.
True.
work on that. You don't owe them. I,
Hmm.
I don't owe you that. I didn't abandon you. I have to save me though. I'm not gonna.
Hmm.
I didn't abandon you. I love you, but I love me more. You feel what I'm saying? Hey, that's your abandonment issue. I ain't got nothing to do with that. That hey, you have to love yourself to the point where you don't feel guilty. Hey, ghosting is a thing. Ghosting
It
is
sure
good.
is.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'll ghost you in a minute if you causing pain to you know what I'm saying, to me.
Hmm.
Ghosting is good. I'm gonna have to write that down.
Ghosted is necessary.
Okay,
It's
let's talk about
necessary.
that. Okay, let's talk about that. Maria, you want to
Yeah.
jump in here? We just talking all over you, but
No, y'all are good. Yeah,
that takes
I'm taking
away.
notes on the ghosting.
Okay,
It's necessary, Maria.
It is. You're absolutely correct. It is. But at what point do we say that, or do we recognize when we're dealing with a codependent person? Like, do you think that we ignore the red signs, or the red flags, due to the fact that we rush so quickly into these relationships?
Yes. Yes, we
okay,
do.
Yeah.
We rush into relationships because in the beginning we feel like those are red hearts bursting around our heads. Oh, they doing everything. Those red hearts just popping. But if you look a little closer, those are red flags busting you upside your head. That's not no little red hearts. That's not no love. This codependency, it don't take long to shade. 2 weeks to 90 days, you ought to already know what kind of person you dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't take long for those traits to show up. They can only fake it so long. You feel what I'm saying? They can
Correct.
only pretend like they are awesome, super calm, laid back person until you try to leave them. And then
Hmm.
they'll show their true color. Then they'll show those abandonment and rejection issues. So you have to be strong enough to, hey, take care of yourself. It's not selfish
True.
to ghost somebody when they're trying to suck your energy. It's not selfish.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, and there's a meme out there. Um, what is it? Oh yeah, about the red flags, because really and truly, I think that we noticed the red flags a lot sooner than what we let on. But we hope and we pray that
We
it's
make
not,
excuses.
that it's something else,
Yes.
that
We
it's
make excuses
it's
for them.
something that we can deal with, because I I was being love bombed and knew I was being love bombed. Oh,
And liked it. You liked it. Oh, it feels so good at
here.
first.
Even though this box is clearly labeled and I can see what's in it, I'm still gonna date it for the next 6 months.
Fuck it. Fuck
Okay,
it.
you know,
Hey,
because
until it stop feeling good to you. I ain't gonna never tell you to stop doing it if it feel good to you. But when it
But
stop
then
feeling good to you, you gonna have to learn how to let it go. It ain't good no more. It
you
don't
gotta
feel
let it
good.
go, and you can't complain about it because you
And you
allowed
can't
yourself
complain.
to.
I had my
Yeah,
fun. I had so much fun with you. And thank you kindly for your time. But now it's my
right.
time to exit stage right. Let's get up out of here. Let's keep it moving. We're not at the age where we have to sit around in toxic relationships anymore. You know what I'm
you
saying? We
show
beyond
about
that.
that.
Yeah,
So
we
agree.
beyond that.
Yes, and we have to get beyond it. And when you say, "Did you know that there was red flags?" Well, if you're a person like me, yeah, you knew. Okay,
Mhm.
you knew.
Yeah.
Cause see, I listen to tarot readings. I have my own personal intuition, and I know,
Hmm.
I had at
We
least two,
know.
four, five, warnings in that. But you hope that, okay, because the thing about it is no relationship is perfect, and so you,
Mm-mm.
as far as acceptance, then you accept a person, pretty much for the way that they are and the way that they show up. Okay, but the bond, the trauma bond, is like crack. Okay, it's
Hmm.
like the first hit of crack. I ain't never hit crack, but I done heard about it. Okay,
Hmm.
it's like it's like that first hit. Then
Hell yeah.
it has you
Some
all
people break up just for the makeup sex.
exactly, and that's the
Shit.
trauma bonding. That is
Yeah.
the trauma bonding.
I was a
Yes,
toxic nigga. I used to love to break up with a bitch and then go back and fuck a couple more times.
they call it effing and fighting. You can say it because I don't cuss like that no more.
Oh, I'm sorry. You
That's what they call it, effing and fighting, and
Yeah.
you do. You get
yes.
back and forth.
Yes.
Hmm.
And I love to talk that stuff to him, baby. I ain't gonna never stop coming yeah, getting yeah. Yeah, I
Right.
was toxic before, so
And you know what? I have seen some people that are actually proud of the fact that they are toxic. Okay.
not no more.
Huh. But the thing about it is nowadays, Eve, people are not really taking it as seriously as they were before. Sometimes people choose the dark side and they
Yeah.
choose
Some
to,
some people some people choose to be toxic. In those
right,
Hmm.
days, I chose to be toxic because I had something that was unhealed in me. You feel what I'm saying? I had rejection and abandonment issues. Like I said, I didn't love me as much as I thought I was. As much as you saw that little mischievous smirk me telling those old stories, I didn't love myself back in those days. You feel what I'm saying? Today, I can tell you, when I tell you I love me, I mean it. I would say it because I dress nice, I look good, I smell good, and it appeared to people that I love myself. But in those days when I wasn't treating people correctly, I was not loving myself correctly. You feel what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
ring the bell.
thank God for healing.
Right.
Thank God for healing, because that's the thing
Thank God
about it.
for
Because
healing.
toxicity is never what it seems. There's another saying that I recently figured out, is that labels are for people in Florida so they won't drink Windex thinking it's a Hawaiian punch. Okay, and
Right.
that's kind of like what it is that you can dress something up on the outside and it won't, but it looks great, it looks fine, it looks
Hmm.
healed, it functions. Okay, and some people,
But we got to go on the inside and see what's going on.
yeah, some people do find a way to function in toxicity, and some people choose toxicity because that's what's comfortable. You know, there's people that choose that toxicity, even though they have these issues, even though they get to fussing and fighting and all, like you were saying before, they live for the high, you know, they live for that
of the
high because
makeup.
stagnancy in the relationship. I mean, I've had people to pick at me because they could not get a rise out of me, you know, or do
Oh,
stuff to try to provoke me, you know, because you know when you're in your heal state, it takes a lot to get you up there like
Mhm.
yeah.
that. It's there. Yes, you have a natural high vibrating frequency, but to really get you off your game and get you off your square and all of that kind of stuff, people, a person would have to really, really push at you and poke at you and do those things that they have discovered over time that causes that, you know, that extra rush of emotion so they can get that narcissistic supply. They're always after the supply, they're always after the energy, they're always after whatever it is that caused that bond, that caused that trauma bond. They're looking for the height of that, and some people choose that. It is a choice.
Choose violence.
Mhm.
I
It's
mean,
definitely
I
a
don't know if
choice.
it's always violence, but I know that in certain situations that you may have if you have a person that is used to functioning in toxicity, they grew up in it, they don't even know how to really begin to heal. Okay. And then any healing that does take place is really more on a superficial level because they learn how to mask it, they learn how to hide it. Okay.
Mhm.
And they learn how to hide it from the world. But if they find somebody, I guess, just as toxic as they are to function in that situation,
Right.
then sometimes it works, at least on the from the outside view.
Mhm. Sure.
Y'all hear me what I'm saying?
Hell
Hello.
yeah. So it
Mhm.
looks like it's working, but
Mhm.
on the inside it's not.
Until
You
it's
know what I'm
not.
saying? So I definitely get what you're saying. You know, hurt people hurt people. That's why in the beginning when we said like attract like, that's why you see two people, two narcissists can never stay in a relationship together.
Right.
It's a
Right.
relationship of blame. You did this. Well, you did this because a narcissist can never see what they do. They can only see
Mhm.
what you do because y'all mirror each other. So that narcissist relationship will become a codependent relationship. So now you need each other to argue back and forth with. I don't want no
Right.
relationship like that.
Well, and that's the thing about it. When people find a relationship like that, when they are in a relationship like that, sometimes
Why do
it's
we
more
stay?
comfortable to function. And I mean, you can't get a pig to not love living in slop. I
Right.
mean, you can take the pig to the penthouse and do all kinds of stuff, but I bet you that you better have a slop pit somewhere because that pig's nature is to dwell in
And
that
slop.
in that
Right.
spot. Okay.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that's just my take on it. But I think that a person like me, even a person that's healed to toxic people, to narcissistic people, to, you know, whatever, then they may feel like you're boring because you don't fight, because you
Mhm.
don't have this whole push and pull and back and forth and all that, that it seems like you are selfish and that you don't care, and all of that is very negative.
And not only is it negative, it's not true. It's just that I care more about my energy than I do uh conducting myself in an argument or a yelling match with somebody. I would rather be quiet and listen to the energy around and give a person a chance to speak. You know what I'm saying? Being in a healed space in a relationship, it's the most beautiful place you can be. You can have times of separation and not have times to worry about if somebody doing something, because if you truly heal, we heal from all of that. There's no envy, there's no jealousy, there's nothing when you're in a relationship and you're healed in it. You know what I'm saying? So instead of two narcissists linking up or two empath, how about two healed people linking up and falling in
Hello.
love? You
Come
know what I'm
on now.
saying? Let's see what that's
Mm-hmm.
about. Two healed people are people that understand that we all a work in progress. We all are healing, and sometimes triggers. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
we don't know each other's triggers until we get in that relationship with them. Sometimes if there's a trigger that they may happen, and then you find yourself codependent. You know what I'm saying? Because now you feel like you're a parent instead of a lover.
That part. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Come
Mm.
on.
Okay. Because I've been there. I went from
Yeah.
two kids
I've
to
had
three, and
I've
I was
had
just like, I didn't sign up for this.
hmm
So yes. Mm-mm. Mm.
And sometimes people feel like if you don't fight for it, that you don't want it or that you
right.
don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not willing to get down in there and have a whole argument and and
Stress
point
yourself out by me and cry. You know what I'm saying? So I had a client tell me, I don't think the guy loves me if he ain't yelling at me. If he ain't yelling at me, if he ain't screaming at me, I don't think he loves me. And I just feel like some
child.
people learn that toxic ass behavior from somewhere, because if you apply being abused with love, then you have to go and relearn what is love. People in that space that don't know what love is, and who only know chaos and battles and
Mhm.
war, how do you teach them how to love?
And that's the thing about it. Can you? Is
They
that
got to be
possible?
willing to learn.
Exactly. You're right.
You can't
They
help.
do
You
have to
can't
be
force.
willing to learn. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you can't help somebody if they don't want the help. You can't force it on them.
Right.
So,
That is true.
and I just don't have the time and energy for it.
And
Now
I
that's
don't
just
blame you.
my best friend on here doing a little skit and everything. But that's how a toxic relationship looks. You have,
Hmm.
and I'm not even saying this is what toxic person would have healed person. I'm just talking about this is just a toxic environment. You have, this yelling, this screaming, and you know what? It doesn't always even have to be that. It can be passive aggressive too. It doesn't always have to be that you're yelling at me and you're blowing up and all of this kind of stuff. It can just be a toxic thing to where it's passive aggressive, where you withdraw from the situation, where you use, what do they call it? The silent treatment. Okay,
As punishment.
as punishment.
You can't punish no adult.
Exactly.
Controlling. You know what I'm saying? You can't control a adult. Adult has the free will to do whatever and go wherever they want. Even if you in a relationship, you can't stop somebody from talking to other people or even having sex with somebody else. If that was so, we wouldn't have infidelity in relationships. You just have to be able to control how you react to them. They should have free will to do whatever they want. It's
And
the
that's
way
the thing
we
about it. A lot of times people don't understand that. As far as I've over the years I've learned to heal from that, to where I'm not going to sit up and worry about what you're doing when you're not in my sight. I'm
right,
not going
Hmm.
to. That's like one of the worst things that you can do to yourself, is to sit up and let somebody walk out the door and you spend the whole time that they're gone worrying who they talking to, where they going, what they do. Really and truly, out of sight means out of mind. It does for me. You know what I'm saying? And I had
right,
to train
Hmm.
my brain, to do that. It wasn't, and I'm just gonna put it out there. When I was married, I had a wife that would leave the house and be gone for 2 or 3 days, and I'm just sitting up there in my head like, what the hell is going on here? I mean, it's not, like, is this supposed to be what I'm supposed to be sitting up waiting on or whatever? And then so at some point, I trained myself, well, I see you when I see you. Okay. But
Hmm.
in the fact that I can't function in that. So then I leave the situation because I don't want to sit up and have to worry about nobody when
Right.
I'm
Who
trying.
want to live like that? I
Right.
want my person to want to come home. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to see you when I see you. That ain't no way to for
It's
to
not
live. You know what I'm saying? You want to be with somebody who want to come home to you. You want to be with
exactly
somebody who you want to come home to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
right.
it's not felt like a prison or a sentence, or when I get home it's gonna be a punishment because I didn't
Exactly.
move
Because
in
that's
the
how it
way they
was. When
want me
she
to
got
move.
home, it was gonna be a problem, okay? Which was probably the whole reason why, she went and did whatever it was she did then. But it was gonna be a
She
problem
went and
because
found a weaker host.
exactly. Somebody that would do all of that arguing, that would do a whole lot of other things. But then, of course, when you come
Hmm.
back, I'm not speaking. Okay, I ain't got nothing to say to you. That even is toxic. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
even that passive aggressive thing is toxic because, but that's that whole cycle where where this unhealed person is creating this trauma bond. And so I had 7 years of trauma bonds,
Damn.
get over,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and finally get to myself to where I can say, okay, it's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't love a person or whatever, but I care about me. I care
Mm-hmm.
about loving myself. And so
That's
if
it.
that means that, and the thing about it is getting into another situation like that is definitely not going to be appealing. So when it happens once, maybe twice, okay, in a new
Mm-hmm.
situation, then it's like, you know what? I'm good.
You didn't learn from the first situation, so here it is again. Now, how you gonna handle it? Here it is yet again, the same, a different person, a whole different person, same fucking energy. No, you
Mhm.
said stop because the same freaking
No,
energy.
I didn't say you need to stop cussing. I said I don't cuss much.
Oh, okay, but yeah, same energy. How do you handle it this time now that you recognize it's the same exact thing that you left the first time? What do you do to deal with this energy now that it's here again? Do you stick with it and say, I see the best in you when
You
everybody else seen the worst? Or you
you
go
wish
ahead
them
and be
well and
that
keep it
yourself?
moving.
That's
You
for
wish
Jesus.
them well and keep it moving.
Shit.
That's,
Deuce,
that's for
we put
Jesus
the
to see the
wands
best
up like they do in the Baptist church. We out of there. We
Yeah,
out of there.
Mhm.
you're
And it's,
absolutely right. Yeah, that's
yeah.
for the Lord and for Jesus to see the best in you. But for me, for you, for us to see the best in me, I need to see the best in me and know that I deserve somebody who is not going to bow down. And as far as like me saying, well, you tell me where you going, what you doing, how you
Oh
doing this,
no.
Mm-mm.
respect me enough to where I don't have to ask you nothing, to where I don't
No.
have to say anything, where I can just be comfortable being in my space, in my peace, and you show up how you show up. And then I get to decide if that's something that I want to deal with, right?
Right.
Right.
I think the best part of relationships, especially a healed relationship, is freedom,
Yes.
peace, and privacy. And
Okay.
Correct.
that's the only thing I need in the relationship. I
Yes.
need freedom. I need my peace not to be fucked with, and I need my privacy because I have things that I like to be private about. Not that I'm keeping secrets, bitch. I just like my privacy. I like my peace. I like things to move in a certain order and decency. So if I can't be with a mate who don't, if I can't use the bathroom and close the door
It's right.
because you think I'm texting females on the phone in the back, then baby, I am
Mm-hmm.
not the one for you.
Right.
If you don't understand, I don't text or talk on my phone unless it's some money. If you thinking I'm in a relationship with you and then taking out spending time with somebody else, you shouldn't have gotten a relationship with me because I tell the truth. If I need
Exactly.
more than one female, I'm the
Right.
one gonna tell you from the jump. This is what I am. You
Hmm.
feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is. In the
Hmm.
beginning, you don't have to wonder or guess, and you know what I'm saying? So if you're in a relationship with me and you still don't trust me after I'm telling you the truth in the beginning, I cut it off. I'm out of there. I'm not gonna sit there and babysit your abandonment issue
Yeah.
with you. That's you,
Mm-mm.
baby. You will be
Hmm.
good for
Mm-mm.
somebody else, but not me.
Actually, it won't be good for nobody else until they heal
Till
because
they
you're going
get
to
their
have the
stuff.
same situation in the next. in the next relationship. And I've always, and I can't say always, I can just say in the last about 4 or 5 years, where I
Okay.
say, you know what, it's never about another woman for me. The only woman that it's about for me is me.
Hmm.
Okay.
Every
I'm more
time.
concerned with how you're treating me. Okay.
Correct.
I'm more concerned how you are interacting with me, how you're showing up with me, because what you do with another woman is according to her own standards and boundaries and things like that. Now, she might like something like that. Okay. She might function that way, and that's fine. And if that's the case, then that's what you should be doing instead of over here bothering me. you know?
Right.
It's crazy, y'all. But talking about these boundaries, and then of course the setting boundaries, having boundaries and respect, because like you said, one thing about it, when you do become a more healed person, you're right. There's no reason to lie. Okay, you
Hmm.
can tell the truth, and it's not whether somebody accepts it or not
Right.
doesn't mean it's not true. Okay.
Hmm.
So you can say, oh, I have all of these friends, this, that, and the other, and okay, and I'm cool and I'm fine with that. And I'll trust you until I don't. You know what I'm saying? I trust you until
Yeah.
you do something or
Right.
show me that I shouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so
Exactly.
sometimes that makes me look a little bit gullible. I've been told that, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm okay looking gullible because my trust is not in you in the first place. My trust is in the Lord and my trust is in me. What you do with it, well, is what you
It's
do
up
with
to
it.
you.
At that
And,
point, I
and
have
and if we protected in spirit as we say we are, we gonna smell it, we gonna feel it, we gonna know it. So the truth is what it is. The truth is energy. The energy don't lie. So once the energy shows itself, you know how to move. You know what I'm saying? If you don't trust yourself, you can't be with a person. You can't be a trustworthy person and
right.
then turn around and be with a person who don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves even enough to have their own boundaries or perimeters for themselves. They out here doing anything across the board. So if you don't have boundaries for yourself, how can I trust you in a relationship when you know what I'm saying, when I
Right.
have boundaries?
That is so true. I mean, you have to look at that, for what it show enough is that, because people will test your boundaries. You set them, people will test them up, especially a toxic person. They're going to test
Hell
your boundaries.
yeah.
They need that. They need to break your boundaries. They need to push the envelope so that they can get whatever it is that they want to get out of you. But really, they don't even realize that they're turning it off. Whatever it is that they're trying to get, whatever it is that they're looking for, they're really cutting themselves off, cutting their nose off to spite their face. Because yeah, I know if I'm in a situation like that and I feel like I'm being provoked and prodded, I turn into a gray rock and you get nothing out of me. And so, yes,
Right.
you will probably either get bored or you will, we're trying to will do whatever you're doing and then probably go off and do whatever you need to do. But that's
And which you can't even stop them. We can't stop adults for
you
going
can't
and
even
doing what they gonna
Hmm.
do. You know
yes,
what I'm
you
saying?
can't
You can be
try.
rubbing his feet, rubbing his temple, feeding them every day, and they still gonna go off and do whatever they feel like they want to do. So how do you handle your emotions after someone betray you? You know?
Well, I mean, these days, I just, being a more healed person, you just go on. You take the
Hmm.
healing for what it is, reset your boundaries, and don't allow the boundaries to be crossed. Whatever the case may be, you're going, you know, temptations, adversities, challenges, all those type of things, they come, you know, but it's how you said react, but I say respond, because I'm not
Right.
gonna give you no reaction. It's gonna be resting bitch face, period.
Okay.
I mean,
Hmm.
on it, and you might think, okay, you's a cold hearted bitch, don't care, they ain't got no feeling, don't love me, all this, that, and the other. But that's really not the case. But what love I am that I've been trying to give, then they may take advantage of it, or you know, do whatever they do, whatever people do in those situations. But I can see and I know that me now and me before respond two different ways.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And you have to. You have to know, because if you
Definitely.
don't grow, heal, and evolve, then whatever it is that you're trying to get out of a relationship is never going to manifest or materialize, you know? I mean,
Exactly. Some people don't even know what they want in a relationship. I want a relationship. Then I ask them, well, what do you have to give a relationship? Because a relationship, you got to bring a relationship or offering. What do you have to offer this relationship you so desperately seek to be in? So, and you don't even know what you want to offer in a relationship. So, if you don't even know what you have to offer a relationship, you possibly can't know what you want out of a relationship. So we have to start with asking the right questions in the beginning. What do you expect from a relationship? And what do you expect from a relationship with me? Just to feel like, what's your intentions? Are you looking just
Right.
to mess around a little bit and we for a little bit? Or are you trying to build something with nothing? You trying to put two plus two together and make something happen? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
be real with yourself first. Know what you want. You know what I'm saying? Know what you want. Sometimes when you don't know what you want, then you get a relationship. You don't know why you in it. Why? Because you don't know what you want. You just taking anything now.
Okay.
Anything.
And we definitely don't want to just take anything. I like this last part down here that says on the interdependent or independent relationship, they create a loving space for each other to be vulnerable. They both give their best to make the relationship work. So it doesn't mean that you expect perfection, because if you're a logical person, you know that perfection doesn't exist. But what you do
Mhm.
is you bring your best self, and always bring yourself. I mean, people so many times they take relationships and other people for granted. You know, I mean, you give your best to your job, you give your best to, uh, whatever your hobbies and things like that, but then you expect a relationship just to materialize out of
Right.
thin air and be a
Mhm.
good situation for you. And it doesn't work. You have to create the space. You have to create that loving space to where,
You have to
okay,
create that safe space, that place where we can be vulnerable and be naked. To lay naked with your partner and your partner understands. Sometimes you don't even have to be verbal.
and be
Sometimes
able
it's just
to fart in front of each other. I mean, some people say you need the 90-day rule or whatever. I think you need the fart rule. You need to be able to,
damn.
when
Yeah, you
y'all
do
are
need to see
comfortable,
if you can handle the farts, because that's a make or break deal in some cases.
it could be a deal breaker. Okay.
Shout, no, shout it. Yeah, you smell
It
like
could be
bumble
that
clock.
really could. I'm saying it does come down to that, because it's what comes out of a man's body that defiles. Okay, so if you can't handle, if you
The
prove that you can't
flagellants.
handle a fart without your mind just being blown and you just like all over the place, then you can't even handle real, you know, real issues.
If you can't handle
Right.
fart, you can't handle love. That's
I'm
a good
saying,
one.
because roses be smelling like boo boo. Ain't that what they say?
Roses still
Mhm.
smell like boo boo. You know what I'm saying? After a while, they do smell like boo boo. You
I'm
know?
So, but that's the thing about it. Being when we say addicted to toxicity, is that means that you need to treat that like it is a addiction, a true addiction
Just
against
like a true addiction.
like drugs or
What makes you?
alcohol.
We have to find the root cause of the toxicity. Where did it come from? To
And
find
that's
out
when
how
we
to
go back.
treat it,
Yeah.
we have to go back. We have to go into those root chakras, into those root to the childhood, see what's going on. You have to dig where the places where it hurt. You ever had to have a root canal? You ever had
Baby,
your
I got dentures.
shit?
Yes, it's like pulling teeth.
You feel me? Instead of having a toothache, you say, "Doctor, take every last son of a bitch out my mouth. I
Yes.
don't ever want another toothache." You feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because of that root sometimes, until you pull that thing out, you're going to have an issue with it.
Hmm.
we're gonna have an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? So
from
we have to
head to
go back
toe.
to the root and see. Let's find the cause and let's see if we can fix it.
Yeah.
If they're willing to fix it, I ain't helping nobody that
Oh,
don't
I
want to
was just
fix
about
their
to say,
own problem.
I'm not fixing nobody. I don't have time to fix nobody. Mm-mm.
Okay, Maria.
We not doing that. That we are not fixing anyone in 2022.
No.
They should know, and
We is not building a
they should want
bitch.
to get the help themselves. No. Mm-mm.
And that's the thing about it, because sometimes people do come to you and expect for your energy and your light and your healing to heal them. And then they
Right.
will blame you when you don't, when that doesn't. But if I can teach you, the only thing I can teach you is what to do for you. You can't you can't you can't siphon from another source. The source
Right.
has to come from within.
You the sole source.
But they have to be open to receive it. And if they're not open to receive it, then I wish you well.
Right.
Wish you
But
well, baby. Hey, we
Mm-mm.
got to go our separate ways. I can't
Mm,
stick around
right.
here with you while you got your dick in the dirt and I'm trying to shine. Like I done already been in the dark spaces before. If you done already been in the dark, you don't want to sit there in the dark with somebody you
Mm-mm.
freaking love. I love you. I don't want to see you in the dark, but I will leave you. You remember Sophia said, I kill you dead before I let you beat me. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
Mm-hmm.
all
And
my
that's not
life
the
I
sense of
had to
it.
fight.
Had to fight. I ain't got to kill you physically, but before I let you kill me, I will kill this whole relationship, this whole energy, and I will go my separate ways. And it may kill me in my heart to leave you, but I got to, you know what I'm saying? Or,
Right.
so and I kill you dead before I let you beat me. You know, it's just like that. We got to walk away sometimes and it may hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is definitely true. Killing the death that comes to that situation, you have to leave that behind, because yes, it even causes, if it causes a death in you, it causes a death in me, but it's a good death. It's a good death
Okay.
because now something new can be created in that space.
In
You
that
know,
space, in that compost. you know from something that was dead we can create something so beautiful. So hey, I'm gonna let you go on your deadly way. If you want to stay in that space, I cannot stand between somebody and they want to commit suicide.
you're right.
I
No,
cannot stand in your way. If that's the ending you choose, you are God of your life, you choose that life. You feel what I'm saying? But if you call me, you obviously you want me to try to talk you out of it, and that's something I'm not gonna do. You make the choice.
okay.
You know what I'm saying? You make the choice. You ain't putting all that on me, baby. You shit. You ain't putting that on me. So you make the choice. I'm
And
not
that's
gonna
where
stop
that
you from doing shit.
now, okay, and that's where that manipulation and
That's a
control comes
manipulator.
in. That is definitely big, and that's what it says right here beside that. Take responsibility for your own toxic behavior, and try to heal unhealthy patterns. And you definitely have to have that, because you can't blame another person for something that happened to you that don't even have nothing to do with them. What you learned, how you learn how to love, and how you learn how to function in a situation don't have anything to do with the other person. Because, like you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, we're going back to the root. What did you learn? How did you learn how to love? Who taught you your love language?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So again, I have to, like when I started out, I have to even apologize to my own daughters, you know, for whatever it is that they learn. As far as, I've always been a loyal person. I've always, okay, yeah, maybe I had this toxic relationship, but I was loyal to a fault, loyal to the detriment of me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not that my loyalty is not there, just it shifted. Now I'm loyal to myself,
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
loyal to my own healing, my own self-love, to where if I see myself in a situation at this point, no, I'm not going to stick around. But that's not what they learned, because they were, during that time they were dealing with a mother that was unhealed, a mother
Right.
that took a whole lot of shit, you know
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
so,
And that ain't got nothing to do with you.
And I'm thinking now, I'm looking at like, did I teach you to put up with a whole lot of shit? Is that what mom, so it's not, it's like that in that, no, you don't have to be this terrible, wicked witch of a mother. You can just accept some shit that you wasn't supposed to be accepting and you teach your
Hmm.
kids a whole nother way of living opposite to what they, to what they really should be learning.
Right.
Right.
Well, when you find yourself and you find yourself accountable and you hold yourself in that space, then there's always space for you to heal you and your children. You know what I'm saying? And mama showed you something that I shouldn't have. So let's now all of us have to sit down and come to the space where we open to heal now. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing. The only crime in that is to say that I didn't do nothing, to live in denial, or to not give them that safe space, to know that this is where this came from, you know. But holding yourself accountable is all you are already healing your granddaughters. You healing
Exactly.
your children. You healing your grandmothers.
Children's
You
children.
healing your mother's mother. You feel what I'm saying? You healing all the way back 5 generations. Once you start to heal your own wound, then you get to heal generations behind you and in front of you. So I commend any mother that has the audacity to apologize for to her daughter for showing her bad characteristics or traits or accepting toxic situations around them. You know what I'm saying?
Because it does go deep, I tell you.
It goes deep.
And a lot of times, we don't have we don't get to determine what situation we're born into. We don't get to determine what family curse we land in the middle of, but we do get to determine how that family curse, when it landed in my lap, you know what I'm
What you
saying,
do
when
with
it
it?
landed for me, instead of me passing it on now, I want to heal this so that my children's children don't have to, experience that type of thing.
There you go. And that's how we breaking generational curses around here. You know?
So y'all know, I mean, I do these shows for me. You know what I'm saying? I be giving
Yeah.
all type of stuff. Somebody to co-sign and all kind of things. But
Yeah, that's what's
that's
up.
what we all
But
do
we
need.
need this in the community. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Every community, the black community, the LGBT community, the women, you know what I'm saying? And everybody needs to understand what we're talking about with the codependency and the toxic traits and how, you know what I'm saying, it just links up to the way we was raised. A lot of people are scared to get therapy. It's taboo in a black household to have a therapist, a family therapist. You know what I'm saying? It's just important that we have somewhere that's safe, like you said, giving your partner that safe space and giving the community this safe space where we can come together and come up with solutions to help the problem that's lingering on in the community, whether it's the black community, female issues, or either the LGBT community, whatever community we existing in. It's a blessing to be able to bring them knowledge and just our own way of seeing. It's just our own perspective of life. You know, we've lived it. You know what I'm saying? Each of us
Hmm.
have lived life maybe so different. Each of us have different lives, but shit, sometimes it's all the same shit. It's all the same,
Right.
you know?
You're right. Because you know what? I didn't know what narcissistic abuse was until just a few years ago when I had it laid out before me and told me, and then someone told me, this is what you was going through. And it really wasn't even a person. It was just somebody giving me a video to watch. And then I'm checking stuff off like, is this what this is? Is this because at some point you have to learn, because if I didn't learn that, then that
Right.
7 year cycle that I was going through would have turned into 14 or 21, just because of the type of person I am, just because of what I say I want in my life. Sometimes you have people that get into that toxic situation and they feel like they can't leave or that they can't change or that they can't
Are they
make
not supposed to leave?
exactly. Exactly. Because they've seen mothers and fathers, they've seen their families, they've seen people together 50 years in a completely and totally toxic situation. And they think that this is what I have, and so this is what I have to deal with it. And if
Right.
you can,
Right.
then deal with it. If you can stay in that long term relationship and you guys have, because that's the thing about it, it's not even so much about The place of being unhealed is that can both of you get to a place of being healed? So you can still salvage your relationships, you can still, do the work, but both people have to be willing to do the work. It can't just be one person.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's
Yeah.
why I said I instead of a narcissist with a narcissist or this, I want to be healed with healed. If you're not coming in this thing healing, I'm not gonna say healed because healing
Right.
is it. Being healed is ongoing. I think we have things that we have to work out. Our shadow works from here until we close our eyes. We're always working on ourselves, so we're always in the process of healing. But if you're not conscious enough to say, "Hey, I have issues," or "I'm healing," I'm working on me, then fine, you know what I'm saying. But if you coming in like I'm unhealed, I'm broken, I'm toe up from the flow up, but I don't want no help and can't nobody tell me nothing, then get the hell on out of here. I can't do nothing with that. What I'm supposed to do with that energy? You know what I'm saying? That type of energy rubs off, and I don't want nothing to do with it.
Well, let's work our way towards a conclusion then. If both of you can kind of give some tips on, and not really just like one, two, three, four, five tips, but like what you have done, to, you know, to heal yourself, to protect yourself, and to give that good energy to your current situation, or to you, or to the best situation that you can speak on.
Well, first and foremost for me, it's just identifying it, communicating it, and then giving each other a safe space to speak. You know what I'm saying? To heal, to lay, you know what I'm saying? To be able to just lay everything out and have an understanding. Sometimes you have to agree to disagree because of the way this person was raised and the way I was raised. Yeah, we love each other, but we see things in two different perspectives. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to agree to disagree, and it's okay that this person sees something this way and it's okay to have different views. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's not the end of the world if your person have a different view from you. So it's just learning how to be with each other and let people be themselves, be free. Like I said, I want freedom, I want peace in a relationship. So just allowing somebody to be free and be able to communicate in a peaceful, in a loving manner, you know.
I definitely agree. I have to piggyback off of that. Communication is very important. Being able to express yourself, um, and again, agreeing to disagree. Um, Therapist, getting a therapist. I definitely believe if we are just bumping heads and we're not seeing eye to eye, let's talk about it. Let's get a third party in here and let's see if we can come to some kind of common ground. But at the same time, you shouldn't lose yourself with somebody, and then that's where I'm at. I refuse to lose myself in someone, um, and nor do I want my mate to lose. I don't want my wife losing herself with me or
Okay.
in me. I want her
That's
to
real
continue.
love. That's
That's
real love.
real.
I,
What you're
I,
That's
saying.
real. I'm
I,
not.
I,
I'm not gonna even allow you to lose yourself in
oh,
me.
oh no, definitely. And what's funny, what's interesting about this is that we were just talking earlier, and I was telling her, I said, once you heal, I want you to take a trip. And she was like, well, nah, I think we should take a trip together. We've been going through a lot. And I was like, no, I want you to take a trip. And then we can take a trip together. I believe in boundaries in space because it does help. A lot of people think, oh no, too much space, it causes a distance, but it really doesn't. It actually brings couples together, So I'm a firm believer. I tell her all the time, you do you, I'm gonna do me. We communicate throughout the day. We communicate about everything. So I don't feel like if she's not in my presence for 12 to 14 hours throughout the day, I'm okay. I'm confident, you know. Um, but just continue to be who you are and don't lose yourself in an individual. And I think people would be okay.
Yeah, that's some very good advice. So, and Maria, if when someone comes and at the, I guess the precipice, the beginning of healing, what are some steps that a person can take to really kind of embrace their healing, okay,
Mhm.
and and I guess begin to move forward.
Okay, I'm sorry. Repeat the question one more time.
Like
It was
in the
like,
beginning, when like say if you could have someone fresh out of a toxic relationship,
hmm
you don't want to and when I say that, because I'm just not fond of the back and forth type thing.
hmm
I feel like once a person you realize you're in a toxic situation, and now I'm gonna heal because I don't want this type of life. So where does a person even start?
ooh, self love. Um,
Period. Okay.
Loving yourself.
Okay.
You know, I was there, so I can tell. I can speak for myself. What I did. I didn't date. I didn't entertain. I got to know myself again. I did. I got help. You know, I had to talk it out and figure out how I let myself get into this type of relationship. You
There you
know,
go.
and then I had to fix the damage that was caused in the relationship, the low self-esteem, um, because I was drained. You know, I questioned myself on a lot of things. But then I had to realize it wasn't me, and I had to rebuild myself. And once I got to that point, it was a year and a half later. Okay, now I'm ready to date. Now I'm ready to bring someone into my circle, because my thing is that I want to love someone genuinely. I don't want to bring that baggage in. I want to give them a fair chance. And I can't give them a fair chance if I'm still working on me, if I'm still trying to heal from the previous relationship, if I'm still lost and confused about certain things. How can I love the next person? It's not possible. So, and I've
Exactly.
never been one to depend on another person. I can be in my first marriage. I was married to a man, and that was one of our things. He wanted me to rely on him and depend on him for everything. No, I wasn't. I was going to have my own job. I was going to do my own thing, because at the end of the day, a person can come and go. And once you wrap yourself up in that individual, once you lose yourself in that individual, you're lost once they're gone. And
Right.
I refuse to ever be that person. And I still refuse to be that person. So that's why I say anybody that I get with, I need them to remain who they are before they got with me. I need them to have their own independence. I need them to come and go freely. I'm not the one that's going to question you 24/7. Where you at? What you doing? Da 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 da. No, I'm not going to do that. My only thing is that I'm going to let you know, hey, this is where I'm at for safety reasons. But other than
Right.
that, I'm not going to sit up here and worry about what my mate is doing. I don't have that time and energy for that. So
Because it
it
do take
it
a lot of energy to be
it,
sitting
it
there worrying
does,
about what somebody doing.
and I don't have it. I just don't.
I like what you said about what you let yourself get lost. And that's the accountability that we have to take. We allow these things to happen to ourselves, and that way we can heal by not blaming, pointing the finger at the other person and what they didn't do in response to the
Mhm.
toxicity. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Person has a right to not accept it. A person has a right to not, to not entertain it, and so that way those three fingers pointing back at you are the ones that you need to be concerned at. This one,
Right.
two, three. What part
Right.
of me did I allow to get this way? And so it brings it back home, okay,
Mhm.
to nurturing yourself, reparenting yourself, getting
Mhm.
yourself, back in, getting yourself not really even back to where you need to be, but to you where you need to be, because you don't want to go back. You want to go to a more healed place, regardless of where you came from.
Yeah. So
Well, y'all, this
always
has been
bring it back to
a
yourself.
time. I think y'all, I appreciate it, and it's really
Mhm.
right on time. It really is,
Yes,
but I
indeed.
thank you, Maria, for finally coming, begging you to come on this show for a minute.
Thank you.
But I
Thank you for
appreciate
having me. I know the scheduling and it's been a lot going on, but thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you,
and I hope
Maria. Nice talking with you.
It
God
was
has
nice
been
talking with you as well.
God has placed some great, smart people in my life, and I'm just so blessed. You know what I'm saying? People
Mhm.
who, like you being a therapist and Eve being a coach and everything, that helps me because it helps me to carry the message of healing that I want to carry out. Because
Right.
I just want to put it out there that if you're trying to heal, get you some help. Get somebody that
Right.
knows.
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yes. It'll make you a much better person and a whole lot smarter. So, y'all, we went over time tonight, but I'm okay with it. I really am. If I have to cut it into, you can definitely find it on YouTube, Hot
Mhm.
Pink Pride Radio, and of course in our group on Facebook, Hot Pink Pride Radio. And of course, I do broadcast from my own page. So, you guys, I hope that you share this with your platforms. And I mean,
Definitely
let's
will.
get into it. We're going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this every Thursday. And I would love for you guys to come back. If anybody else wants to be a guest, want to, add to the situation and bring some insight that we haven't yet heard, well, then, hey, you're definitely welcome. Y'all have any last words?
Uh-huh. No, I'm good.
Y'all good? All
No,
right,
just
then.
love yourself. Love
All
Yeah.
yourself.
right, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
love
doing it.
yourself.
I'm totally in love with Cherie. All right. I'll
Okay.
talk to y'all later. Good night.
All
Bye.
right.